The old asylum stood silhouetted against the bruised twilight sky, a skeletal ruin choked by ivy and forgotten by time. Liam's car crunched to a halt on the gravel drive, the engine's dying rumble the only sound breaking the heavy silence. He stepped out, his camera a familiar weight in his hand, and walked toward the building's gaping maw of a doorway. The air grew colder with each step, carrying the scent of dust and decay, a prelude to the stories trapped within the asylum's crumbling walls. He was a photographer, a chaser of ghosts on film, drawn to the beauty and desolation. Tonight, however, the desolation felt less beautiful and more alive, as if the building itself were watching him, holding its breath in anticipation. He raised his camera, ready to capture the forgotten echoes of the past, unaware that the past was ready to capture him. Inside, the asylum was a labyrinth of shadows and whispers. Liam's footsteps echoed down long decaying hallways, where peeling paint hung like shedding skin. He moved through dust-filled rooms where sunlight struggled to pierce the grimy windows, illuminating motes of dust dancing in the stale air. In one room, an empty rocking chair swayed gently, a silent rhythmic motion that had no earthly cause. A mix of professional curiosity and primal apprehension tightened on his face as he framed his shots, the click of the shutter unnaturally loud in the oppressive quiet. It was only when he paused to review his work that the first true chill of fear snaked down his spine. On the camera's small screen, a faint shadowy figure lurked in the background of a photograph. A figure that hadn't been there when he took the shot. As he stared, the ambient sounds of the asylum intensified. Distant whispers seemed to coalesce into words just beyond his hearing, and the creak of unseen doors grew louder. Closer, deeper he went, drawn by an unseen force until he found himself in a vast circular ward. The air here was thick and stagnant, and in the very center of the room, a figure stood unnervingly still. It was the shadow from his photograph, now a solid, three-dimensional presence of pure darkness. Panic seized him, and Liam turned to flee, his heart hammering against his ribs. He sprinted down a corridor, his breath coming in ragged gasps, only to find himself bursting back into the same circular ward. The shadow figure was still there, but it was closer now, its formless head slightly tilted. Again he ran, choosing a different hallway, a different path, but the asylum's geometry had warped, twisting back on itself. Each desperate escape led him back to the same terrifying chamber, and each time, the silent figure had moved a little nearer, its presence a vortex pulling him in. A frantic montage played out in his mind. His own terrified face, the encroaching darkness, his feet pounding on the dusty floor, running in a nightmare loop from which there was no waking. With a final desperate surge of adrenaline, he saw a sliver of gray light and threw himself toward it. He burst through the main entrance, the night air a shocking, cold slap against his skin. He didn't look back. He scrambled into his car, fumbling with the keys, his entire body trembling. The engine roared to life, and he sped away, leaving the malevolent asylum shrinking in his rearview mirror. Miles down the road, his breathing still heavy and erratic, he finally dared to look at his camera. He scrolled frantically through the photos, his thumb a blur on the dial. The last image stopped his heart. It was a selfie, taken by accident during his panicked flight. His face a mask of sheer terror, and right behind him, filling the frame, was the shadow figure. Its form was no longer faint or distant. It was sharp, clear, and impossibly close. Its featureless face peering directly into the lens. An eternal, silent passenger, captured in a single horrifying moment.